Shushan David Yom Tov HaCohen Zecher Tzadik Libracha. He was born in the year 1906 and passed away in 1976. So he was about 70 years of age at the time. Passed away nearly 50 years ago. Become a great rabbi, part of the Din of Beg'raba, the great, let's say, Torah Academy in itself for several years. To become later on in his life the rabbi of the Moshav Eitan, and take on various different positions all throughout in of itself. He very much more can be said about, and had very, very great Torah heritage. His father was actually Rav Kalfon Moshe HaCohen. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the great rabbi's life in of itself. So he was born and raised in an area called Beg'raba over there in Tunisia. Remember, Beg'raba had arguably the greatest Torah community in Tunisia of its time, and one of the best places in North Africa, respectively. He came from, his father's name was Rav Kalfon Moshe HaCohen, a rabbi we've spoken about on various occasions before, and his mother's name was Rabbanit Masaida. Really, really great people. And his father actually happened to be the head of the Jewish court in Beg'raba, respectively. So he learned Torah from his father at a very high level, along with his Torah studies. Like later on, when as time progressed, he would also earn a parnasah within regards to selling Kodesh books in itself, Tashmishei Kedusha, Tzitziyot, various different tefillins, different holy, let's say, works in of itself. That's how he would receive his parnasah sustenance. He would get married to a woman of the name Sevir Rasa, I believe, or Shebir Birza, I believe. And it's actually interesting. I think while he was young, he would found the Tnuot Ateret Zion over there, and to be very much delved in learning also Torah, also language in of itself, especially Ivrit. I think he would be learning very much. So using Hebrew terminology over there at that point in time. Remember, in Tunisia, they might have been using Judeo-Arabic and all those different sub-languages, let's just say in itself. He was part of the Chevrat Otzah HaTorah, which was a various different Mostot foundation representing the Torani community, let's just say, in Beg'raba, respectively. And I believe much more can be said within regards to him. Or HaTorah, it was the Otzah HaTorah, was a famous place in itself. And I think he would manage later on the Otzah HaTorah company, which this company itself managed, let's just say, the Torah institutions in Beg'raba. And I think they produced a Torah monthly, if I'm not mistaken, in the 1920s, called Otzah HaTorah, respectively. Now, it's reported over that he had a printing house. He purchased a printing house, and this was called the Zohar Harakia, and printed the Zohar in various different printings, many, many different printings. But because of the outbreak of the Second World War, during his, let's say, early mid-ages in of itself, it interrupted, let's just say, this plan in itself. A 5-volume printing would be done because to make up for it. Also, he printed books of his oldest brother, Rav Avram. I believe, sadly, he passed away in his youth. I think that was called the Birkat Avram and the Chesed Avram, and the books of his father's responser called the Shoel and Sha'al, various great respective Shoel v'Nish'al, to give it a proper name. He would be appointed a judge in the Din in Beg'raba, very prominent position over there. And I believe after, sadly, his father passed away in 1950, he was appointed instead in his position, I believe, as a chief rabbi of Beg'raba. Once again, a lot of responsibility, but a great job to be in also. And he was close to many, many of the great rabbanim of his time as he was taking on his undertakings, especially Rabbi Rachamim Hayuta HaCohen and Rabbi Shlomo Mezuz. These were great rabbis we've spoken about on various occasions before. He had this, I think, initial position for about a 5-year period until officially he would emigrate into the land of Israel in the year 1956. I think he was offered rabbinic positions, if I'm not mistaken, but he refused to take it, let's just say. And he wants to join his congregation, Moshav Eitan, which I believe is naturally inside the Lachish region in of itself, so that the son could get a very high level Torah breadth learning in of itself. And he would be appointed as rabbi over there, and he was very close to other great rabbis, including Rabbi Raphael Kadir Tzaban. And he was in of itself, Rav Kadir Tzaban was one of the great rabbis, arguably, from his area in of itself. Rabbi was spoken about on various occasions, before. So he would get married. I think Rav Saban was actually married to a woman that was called the Vev Siftei Yeshanim, if I'm not mistaken. Now, many of the great rabbis from Tunis would actually have their work published over there, and especially inside the Bet Sefer in of itself, and inside the libraries. And sadly, I believe he passed away in 1976, and he was buried in the Beit HaKvarot Hayudi Bahar Zaitim, the Olives Mountains burial plot. Naturally, that is in Jerusalem. And much more can be related within regards to the great rabbi, especially, I believe, he had a great, strong, let's say, religious Zionist worldview, just like his father actually had. He very much was a staunch advocate within regards to people coming to move to the land of Eretz Yisrael. He saw it as the beginning of the redemption, and wanted really a support for the various different movements that were working about, establishing the Medinat Yisrael. Now, I believe it's reported over that he had left great descendants, including Rabbi Moshe HaCohen, who was very, very much a great rabbi. He would serve the rabbi, I believe, of a region in Israel called Shafir, if I'm not mistaken. It's near the city of Kiryat Gat and Kiryat Malachi, respectively. So he would have that position. Let's explore some of the great Torah books that he left Am Yisrael with, including the Palei Tzadikim, which is Purim on the great rabbis of Tunisia. That was printed in 1935. Then the Tova Chesed, which was Leket Dinim, the Vei Musar. Then the Perach Shushan, which is Chidushim on the Tanakh, Torah, Nevim and Ketuvim. Then the Biyat Avot, which was another great book. The Melechet HaKohanim, which was, let's say, the chronicles of the Jewish people in Beg'Jrba, respectively. Then the Maaseh Shushan, which is various different Drushim. The Sha'ar Susan, which was Chidushim on the Shas, Talmud Bavli in of itself, and Siftei Shushan, which was a Shut, Sheilot and Shavot book on the Chidushim, the teachings, of very interesting enough. So this was another great book that was actually published. So he was one great rabbi, not just great rabbi and great decision taker. He would have an eye for books, and of all pretty much Torah in of itself. I believe, as we said before, his wife's name would become Sevir Sa HaCohen. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And his rabbi who teaches him every week that Tichinim is Rav Kalfon Moshe HaCohen. Recommend everyone to come and visit. So wishing all blessings here from Israel Friends World Community. We're learning about the great rabbis of yesteryear. We've covered about nearly 800 rabbis inside the series. If you happen to relate it to any of the great rabbis, please send me an email. I would love to hear more. But wishing you all well and take care.